Welcome back. Welcome back. We're on M1. We need to compare the purpose, application, principles, and characteristics of IoT systems and or the services from different sectors. There's nothing on the spec for M1 and D1. You must come up with this by yourself. Now, it says we need to cover at least 4 different devices used in 2 different sectors. You should also cover the benefits and risks of each system. So what does it mean to compare? And again, you guys know you should always define things when doing a section. A single sentence, what does it mean to compare? Example of a comparison, similar categories or headings, numbers, or descriptive information. So that's what I would do for what does it mean to compare? Find a reference. This is just a Google search comparison example. Right, I'm going to use this when I come back, but let me just simply go through this first. So choose the 2 sectors and then choose the devices. The list of sectors again this is what was on the spec. Now you can find more sectors online, but you can choose from the spec as well. Here we have a list of sectors from Google. Simply Google the term IoT sectors and you'll find loads and loads of information there. Next we have what I've done. I've laid out what I'm going to do. So I've said sector 1 is home for me and sector 2 I've chosen to be health and well-being. Why these 2 sectors? I know them relatively well. I like these sectors. Choose what you know and choose what you like, and the same comparison can be done between them as well. So it says that sector 1 home, device 1 Google Home Mini or Google Nest Mini or whatever it's called, right? The Google speech thing. And we have device 2, we have Amazon Alexa. So this is for my first category and I've got my 2 devices. Remember it said we needed 4 devices from 2 different categories. So this is my first category and these are my 2 devices. Then I have my second category, my second sector, let's say, health and well-being. And I have device 1 Google Pixel Watch and I have device 2 Google Apple Watch, Apple Smartwatch or Apple Watch, right? So I'm going to give a short introduction for each one. The sectors I've chosen are X and Y. For me, that's going to be home and health and well-being. Yours are going to be different. Put whatever you want to be. Just give a short introduction. It doesn't have to follow my rules or what I've said here. Just do your own thing. I chose an X and Y because, as I mentioned, I like these categories. I know them quite well. I think they're very interesting. These are the 2 that people probably use the most in everyday life. That's not an industrial sector or work sector. From category X, so I'm going to say from category home or sector home, I'll be comparing the Google Pixel Watch and the Apple Watch. These 2 devices are both smart watches. Just repeat the same thing again for your other category and state what devices you'll be talking about. This is a nice mini paragraph that's going to be about, I don't know, 4 or 5 lines. Leave it at that. Keep it super short, super simple. It doesn't need to be crazy. And that's it. You're almost done. Now, before I show you what I've done, I wanted to go over this. Factors used for comparison. We're supposed to speak about the purpose, application, principles, and the characteristics. So all of these things. So the purpose, productivity, safety, security. So these are the list of things that we can use when comparing. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. If you want more, go look for more. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to show you how I've done mine. But before I show you how I've done mine, I'm going to show you a proper example of what comparison actually is. So when I go on to Google, this one here, example comparison, this is a comparison website, the best comparison website, one of the best comparison websites. And again, all it does, it simply shows you similar information from different companies. So for example, I was looking for a broadband recently and I was saying, which is the best one to go with? Okay. The things that they're comparing on this specific website are the average speeds of the broadband. So Virgin seems to be the best one in general, right? The setup cost is also something that people care about, because there's no point in you paying £30 to setup cost for something that costs £5-10 a month. And the contract length, so this is 24 months, that's 18 months, that's 18 months. So Virgin seems to be like the best overall, plus any benefits that we might get. I get an £80 voucher from using Virgin, a 120 from using Sky, but Sky isn't as fast. Virgin is more than twice as fast as Sky. So I might as well go with Virgin. So this is what a comparison is. You simply compare similar values, similar things, similar categories. So if I go back to my document now, let me scroll down to what I actually did. And I just created a table. I made it as simple as possible. And The first thing I did, again, I would investigate some of the things that people care about when looking at these devices. So my two devices, again, are the Google Home or the Google Nest Mini 2, and we have the Amazon Alexa. So what things do people care about? Linking back to the things that we needed. So the purpose, what is the purpose of these things? Now, you probably don't need to do purpose of this one because these are both home assistants. So they're both for the same purpose. But all the other categories that we need to use, I've dropped them in here. I dropped some of them in here. So for example, sound quality. Which one is going to have the better sound quality? We have design. Let me just highlight this. Sound quality. Then we have design, voice assistant. They're both voice assistants. Smart home integration. I know that I can integrate my Google Home with my my heating system. So I say to it, okay, Google, do this or do that, and it just does it. I can do the same thing with the smart cameras I have. I can say, okay, Google, show me the camera in the kitchen, show me the camera by the front door, show me the camera by the back door, and it just does it. Connectivity can be a bit different for both. They both use Wi-Fi. I think the Google Nest Mini or the Google version does Bluetooth as well. Does it have buttons? I think the Amazon Alexa has buttons, but the Google now has capacitive buttons, so not tactile physical buttons, but like a touchscreen type thing. The Google now does music playback. Amazon Alexa does not, as far as I'm aware. Color, right? Compare. Right, I'm going overboard here, but all you need to do is to compare. And again, we need to link it back to as many of these as we can. And these things are purpose, application, principles, and characteristics, because M1 specified that these are the things that we're supposed to use to compare. So this was my comparison for this. Now I'm going to leave it this simple because it's simply said to compare them and do nothing with that information yet. We know that D1 is going to be where we actually draw some conclusion or make an evaluation, but for now, simply compare it and leave it at that. For sector 2, I've done health and well-being, and the two things I'm speaking about again are device one is the Google Pixel Watch and the Apple Watch as well. The things I'm comparing are price, color, changeable straps, charging connector, operating system, battery life, fitness tracking, stroke activity tracking, app usability rating, display size, screen brightness. So all the things that I think are even comparable when looking at these two devices, list them in here and then give the value. So the price for the Google Pixel Watch, let's say it was about 350. The price for the Apple Watch, 450. Colors, red, blue, white, black, green, something. This probably has a million colors, right? Changeable straps, yes. Interchangeable from any other smartwatch. The sizes are X. Operating system, I think it's called Wear OS, and this is called Apple IO. I don't know what it's called for Apple, but the point I'm trying to make here is that whatever devices you choose, you simply go over them, do some investigation on the things that people care about when looking at these devices. That's number one. You also link it back to purpose, application, principles, and characteristics. Now, a characteristic of the smartwatch would be obviously the color, the RAM, the storage, the sensors. So hopefully that made some sense. This one was easier than I expected it to be, which is a good thing. But again, it only needs us to compare these things together, four devices, two different sectors, and that's it. The job is done. That's M1 completed. So hopefully that was useful and good luck. Next is D1.